mentioned, just check out there. You're going to come out of this. Once you leave this call, you will be coming out of that shell. Trust me, you will. All right. Well, I guess we can get started. Sheila, my name is Deborah, and we thank you guys. We are the hosts, myself and my BFF for over 20 years, Sheila Bird. We'll give her an opportunity to introduce herself as well. But like I said, my name is Deborah Crowley. I am an entrepreneur, um, business owner, author, mother, grandmother, you name it. I have several hats, and I know you guys have that too. I am a Ladies of Justice ambassador. Also, I am a part of G100 City Cheer for the Livonia, Michigan. Guys, this is being hosted by Ladies of Justice as well as G100. But I'm going to turn it over to my best friend over there so she can tell you guys who she is.
All right. Thank you, my sister Deborah. I tell you, it's exciting to be here with you ladies. Yes, I am Sheila Bird. I am in Centerville, Georgia, born and raised in Michigan all my life. Just been in Georgia 3 years here now. My background is in nursing. I retired 9 years ago now, and I have been enjoying being an entrepreneur. I am also with my sister Deb here, G100 City Chair for the city of Centerville, Georgia. And I'm also a Ladies of Justice ambassador. I am a Legal Shield associate. I have many hats and also nonprofits. So I just love what I'm doing, and I love being around women who are absolutely just excelling in life and sharing. This is the share platform, guys, and we love for you to come on and tell us all about yourself. And we have a special guest today who's really going to share with you from her heart, and we're so excited to have her. But I'm going to let Deborah introduce her properly. So thank you again. And first, we're going to go out to Ms. Tanya Maddox, right, Deb?
Yep, we're going to go out to Tanya, but first we're going to go over the Ladies of Justice mission statement, guys. Our mission is to help improve lives with our services and provide women the opportunity and environment to build their belief and confidence, step into their greatness and power, control their lives, and create choices and live a purposeful life. That's our mission statement for Ladies of Justice. But like Sheila said, we're going to turn it over to Miss Tanya Maddox. She is G100 USA State Chair for G100. So Tanya, tell us about what G100 entails.
Oh, you're muted, Tanya.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sheila and Deborah. I'm so happy to be here. Tanya Maddox, USA Country Chair for G100 Oneness and Wisdom. What is G100? G100 is a group of 100 eminent women from across the globe. It's a worldwide nonprofit business established in 2011 by Dr. Herbine Aurora Rai. She had the vision of connecting sisters across borders, creating a worldwide web of women. She has a mission of 1 million women being connected by 2022, which was passed, and 5 million by 2025. G100 is an organization that is all about being positive, all about women's empowerment. And ladies, it is free to join. There is no membership fee, and we are here to empower you and build you up. And any information that you need, you can ask that afterwards. We're so happy to have you, and check out G100, Oneness and Wisdom. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanya. Thank you for that. G100, as she said, ladies, you are connected to women all over the world. You are considered as being global. So we love that. We love that. And that's where one of our guest speaker, she is G100 in Angola, Africa. I think I'm saying that right, guys. She's truly amazing. Her name is Enolia Foti. Guys, this lady, when I first met her, just a connection just the vibe that I got from her, the spiritual connection. She's just truly, truly amazing. And you're going to enjoy her as well. She's the owner and CEO of Enolia Expressions of Humanity. She's a global director at We Champion. Guys, she has so many different things under her belt. She travels all over the world. And guess what? It's 12 o'clock midnight where she is right now. So guys, we need to give her applause for getting on this call with us at 6:10. And I told her, I said, make sure you stay awake because we're going to need you. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on Enolia. Enolia, tell us about you.
Thank you so much for that beautiful introduction, and I'm so excited to be here. I'm so sorry the internet connection has not been stable, but I'm here. And I just, I wanted to share something from my soul. And when I thought about all of the women all around the world and how important it is for them to know that their story counts, what they've gone through and what they do, that their story counts. And so I can share a little bit about my story, which is that I had no idea where I'd be or what I'd be doing at this moment and this time. I wanted the dream just like everybody else had the dream. I wanted to have the dream job and the big house and the car, and the corporate thing was my whole world. That's where I thought I wanted to be. And what happens is that sometimes you set out for a dream and you realize that that's not what's fulfilling. And that's what happened to me. Car, the dream job, the corporate work, and what basically happened was that there was this longing in my heart. There was something that wasn't clicking, that wasn't fulfilled. And even though I loved what I was doing, because I worked in IT, I designed computer networks for 20 years. I loved working like that, but it wasn't fulfilling that soul calling. And how did I realize it was a soul calling? Because no matter what I did, it was not satisfying. What satisfied me more was the coaching aspect of it. I kind of coach women and help them get acclimated to the corporate setting. But then I realized that in satisfying what it was within my heart, because my parents had me very late in life. My mother had me at 48 years old. So I didn't get to hold on to them very long. They passed away before I could really, really embrace them the way that a child truly embraces her parents when she's older and she realizes how valuable and how precious their knowledge was and how valuable and precious they were. And so I looked for an elder, an indigenous elder that could teach me, that could just share with me in terms of connecting to a tradition, because coming up in the United States, there wasn't that tradition that I longed for, that I heard about among the Native American Indians, of which I am part, and also among Africans, which I am part. I just didn't have that connection and longed for it. And I met my first indigenous elder, and she took me under her wings and she taught me. But she didn't just teach me just like this is an indigenous way. She taught me how to view life in a whole nother view. Compassionate leadership, what we have in common instead of what our differences are, in balance with the land. The beauty of everything that I was passing by in life, because I was moving so fast instead of enjoying what was all around me. To be able to find bliss and happiness in every day of my living, every day of my being. To take inventory and take stock of what's inside of me and love what I see and learn to love what I see, because I didn't like it at first. I didn't like where I was and what I had become, because it was all about the competition and the arrogance and the who can posture first and who can stand first. And that wasn't living life. So in order to really, truly embrace that, a shift took place within me. And in that shift, it was like a whole nother world opened up for me. We talk about awareness, self-realization. We use words like love is within the heart. We use things, statements, and the power of our voice to make declarations about what life should be and how we're going to embrace it. But to live it was a whole nother world for me. And that's what I learned to do. I learned to live it. And that elder, her name was Grandmother Isabel Mawasaki, was the first of a series of elders that I had no idea my life would take place in this manner, the way that it shifted. So I met her, I met Grandmother Shirley of the Lakota, Grandmother Maria of the Apache. I met Grandfather Lynch Archuleta of the Yaqui Indians. These people I cherish in my heart so dearly. And this would then broaden even further from the United States out into the world. And when I met my first elder across the board, that just showed me a whole nother culture, a whole nother way of living, I was just blown away. So I embrace these teachings, I embrace what I learned, and I want to share that back. I want to give that back. So after 10 plus years, I go full circle and I become the elder that I sought. And now I get to give back, and I get to do the teachings, and I get to share and give back to those who are seeking. And I love that. And life, I've learned, truly, truly gives you back what you put out. And there is a moment that I have been grateful for, the friends and the beautiful people I've encountered and the beautiful locations that I've been to see how it hasn't been full, from the leaders that I've met that are from 10 years old all the way up into older and just ones to embrace, and that I can be a lifelong learner and always, always, always learn more and more and more. And I'll never stop. So I'll leave it at that because I can go on and on. But it is such an honor to be able to share with others and to share those aspects of my life with others. So I'll leave it at that.
Thank you, Enolia. Thank you so much, guys. Remember, she is chiming in at 12 o'clock midnight. So excuse the internet, guys. Just embrace the information. Enolia, I just wanted to ask you maybe 2 questions, and I want you to go into your Know Thyself 30-day to conscious living after we go over these questions. What do you think about women in a new norm? What do you think about what's going on with women today? Do you think we're elevating? Do you think we broke the glass ceiling? Do you think we have more things to do? What do you think about the women in a new norm now?
I love that we are finally really honoring the fact that we are powerful, that our voices are powerful, and that we are the gift of contribution to humanity. That everything that we do and everything that we are skilled to bring forward is the gift to humanity. And we're starting to realize how important that is. And I think that we all should learn how to truly embrace each other because we're stronger together. How we should truly learn to help each other lift up, because what happens is that when we do it together, we become a force. We become a force to be reckoned with. We become a force that has not just power, it's not power over someone, but power within each other. And that when we raise up that my success is your success and your success is my success. So we are aware, we are more aware than ever. We have more learning to do. We are learning to embrace each other and see what makes us the same. And we are unafraid to elevate that within each other. And to me, that is the gift. That is truly the gift that we have for one another, to continue to be strong, to be heard, to continue to be the leaders that we are, and to continue bringing it all to those who need it the most around us, our families, our community.
Wow. Thank you for that. One more question. I know you travel all over the world. You just came back from, I forgot where you came back from, but I want you to talk about it. I also want you to talk about your amazing journey with speaking with women all over the world. A lot of times we think that everything is just happening in the United States, and things are happening in different countries all over the world, and women are going through the same thing that we're going through. So talk about that. Talk about your experiences going to different countries, communicating with different women all over the world. Talk about that.
So I just got back from India and Namibia. So Namibia is in Africa, and everybody knows India, Delhi, India. And I met some really phenomenal leaders and really phenomenal women that basically are really stepping up to doing what is part of their personal arsenal. So some humanitarians, some for equal rights, and really fighting for the fact that their voice needs to be heard. Some are activists who are fighting for different health issues. Like I met a beautiful woman in India, her name is Nisha, and she has vitiligo. And those who don't know what vitiligo is, think about when Michael Jackson was two-toned and he had that skin. And so she was actually telling me and sharing with me what she had to go through to get people to treat her properly, to not think of her as untouchable, and to educate them. And she spent her whole time educating them and helping them to understand that we need to see each other from our hearts and not just from the physical. And we should be educated in order to understand what's taking place and how we can help one another by just being accepting. And this kind of goes back to my program. And I know you had asked me to talk about a little bit about the 30-day program to awareness. And the program to living consciously, my 30-day program to living consciously, is basically about asking the right questions to really just open up and expand your mind, your heart, and your awareness around what's going on in the world, and not just inside of a small bubble. We can all live our lives in a bubble, and that bubble is just our comfort zone, our opportunity to live where we're comfortable. It's like putting on that pair of shoes that are your favorite every day. You know how they feel, you know where they're comfortable, and they don't take you out of your comfort zone. But we've got to start learning how to live beyond the boundary that we put around ourselves in order to truly expand our knowledge, in order to expand our view, and in order to expand our hearts. And by doing that is by even just listening to this people and listening to the stories that you encounter and the people that you meet in other places. I learned from the world stage that there are so many things that we as women have in common that we need. When we ask the right questions, what we'll find is that they're not much different from where we are. Our circumstances in terms of oppression, our circumstances circumstances in terms of the need for freedom or the need for love are the same. And when I talk about freedom, it's sometimes that the overall relationships that we engage in are suppressing instead of nurturing, or the overall families that we're born into are suppressing instead of nurturing, or sometimes it's just the overall community or location are suppressing and not inviting. And we take this for granted. We take it for granted. I was coaching a young man today, and he was from Kashmir, and that's occupied territory. And he just wanted to speak with me in terms of sharing, do you understand what it feels like to be oppressed? And it's like, yes, I do, but not from your perspective. And I just listened. It wasn't about telling them or him what to feel or what he should do. It was just about listening and allowing him to express something that was just on his heart so heavy, and he didn't know how to release. So this world stage is important because we are taught from birth to compete, what our differences are, and how to separate ourselves in order to rise above everyone else. But what I've learned and what I embrace is that we stand in circle, that nobody's above us, nobody's below us, no one's behind us, no one's in front of us. That I welcome my brothers and my sisters in a circle, standing with me equally, understanding that their perspectives are different. They're not wrong, they're not right, they're just different. And that we can all be looking at the same thing and accept the differences of how we view that same thing and still rise above it all.
Okay. I'm going to give you 4 words, right? And I want you to talk about those 4 words, okay? The first one is boundaries.
Okay.
Tell me about boundaries. A lot of people, and I talk to a lot of people, and I'm telling them, and they're like, well, I'm just too nice. I'm always giving. People take advantage. So many different issues with boundaries. Talk about boundaries. Did we lose it?
Well, boundaries is multi-layered. No, I'm here. Boundaries is multi-layered. Boundaries can be looked at in terms of the boundaries that we need to surpass. And when we need to surpass them, I think of the words limited beliefs, limited thinking, and limitations. So that's one perspective. But the other perspective is that at times we need to set boundaries and we need to establish our truth, take a stand, set our boundary, and afford ourselves the opportunity to stand in our place and voice how we feel no matter what. So we can't look at things as just singularly, but that there are going to be multiple viewpoints when we establish boundaries. And it depends on the circumstance by which we choose to work through or work towards establishing or letting go. It depends on which perspective you're coming from. Does that make sense?
Yes, I took notes. All right, what about faith? Talk about faith.
Faith. Faith is everything. Faith is freedom. Faith in trusting yourself. Faith in believing in yourself. Faith in holding your vision and going after your dreams. Faith in the love that you can exude. Faith in the love that you can receive. Faith in knowing that your heart is full of love and full, and that nothing can take that away from you. Faith in what you believe in. Faith in your truth. Faith in your trust. And faith in Source, God, the all, whatever you want to call, most of all. So to me, I love that word.
All right. Okay, I'm jumping to something from faith to fear. Talk about fear and how do you remove it if you can?
So I'm gonna enjoy this one. I have my own definition of fear. Fear is the boundary by which we like to operate without challenge. And as soon as we surpass that boundary and the challenges come, that uncomfortableness comes outside of that boundary, that's what fear is. So if you could see that bubble and you're standing in the center of it and you're operating within the bubble, there's no fear. But as soon as you surpass that boundary of the bubble, you're in fear. Why? Because it's uncomfortable, because it's unknown. But then, if that's the case, you would be in fear every single moment of every single day of your life because there's nothing promised. And there's nothing there that says that our circumstance will remain the same all the time and consistent all the time. Things happen all the time. Now, this fear is different than survival fear, okay? I'm not talking about survival when I talk about fear. And why I separate the two is because this, right? Fear isn't really even that survival mode. Because if you think about it, when we're in survival mode and we feel that our being is being threatened, yes, we have fear that we encounter to get through the situation, but isn't it that when we surpass the fear and finally decide that we're going to get through the situation, we have to put the fear, the emotion of fear aside, is when we survive it? So I look at those as two separate things. There's the part of us that survives, that gets through detrimental situations. And then there's a part of us that are just afraid to engage because we don't know what we're going to encounter. So it's easier to navigate through the story being afraid than to navigate through the story without the fear and putting it aside. This is something we learn to embrace. We learn to embrace navigating through the story and try to step into our fearlessness. And really, you're doing that on both sides of the coin, because isn't it when we see that person who's petrified and in fear, they shut down. But when they finally decide that they're going to master the survival of a situation, they put the fear aside. And then they just do it fearlessly. So yes, that one is very interesting too.
Awesome. All right. Let's talk about energy.
Can you hear?
Yes, I can.
Mm.
Oh, I'm frozen too. Okay. Let's talk about energy and vibration. I know that's two words, but let's talk about that.
So I love energy and I love vibration because we are energy beings in a physical container. So we all express and have energy. And it's not that we have energy, we are energy. And I always love making it akin to, like, if we took the roles of who we are, the mother, the daughter, the auntie, the employer, the employee, and we made those roles like hats. And we wore our hats, and then we took our hats off. If you take all of those roles off, all you have is the energy being that you are in the container of this physical being. Now, I'm going to take that one step further, which is that in that energetic being that you are in this physical container, for me, when I look, I see what my heart is filled with, which is love. The energy being in me is love. It is the antithesis of what is expressed. It is love. It is the vibration of love. It is the vibration of my happiness, of my joy, of my bliss, because I don't have any of the humanistic roles that would change that. And when I put those roles back on, like I'm putting hats back on, when I truly have that self-realization of the love that I am, then that love is expressed through the roles that I play. So at the core of my being is the love that I am. And when I put on the hat of the dutiful mother, I want that love expressed through my mothering. And when I put on the hat of the dutiful daughter, I want that love expressed through that relationship, and so on and so forth. So that for me, energy is being that I am expressed through the roles that I do. And we all have it. It is multidimensional. It can be expressed in so many different ways. And I think from that perspective first is the most important. And then we can look at how my energy chooses to fill a room because I'm so full and I'm so happy, or how my energy changes when I have to express it in other different ways. But then knowing myself so fully and knowing my energy so well that when it's expressed and when it's encountered, I want that to be in the most positive ways for me.
Wow. Truly amazing. Guys, I wanted to give the opportunity for others to ask questions. This part of the segment, I'm going to turn it over to Sheila, and she's going to take it from there. But Enolia, you're truly amazing. Truly amazing. All right, Sheila, I'll turn it over to you.
Oh, wow. Enolia, absolutely. Deborah has said it. You are amazing. I'm hearing such expressions of just the energy, the vibration, the love. I've heard you mention love several times, and we can tell by your conversation with us that you exude love. So I'm definitely going to say one of the first things, would you not agree with me, is that we love ourselves first. How important it is to love yourself. Because sometimes I think we may be too hard on ourselves. What would you say to a woman who just can't see, herself or have that confidence because they don't see themselves as loved or love themselves?
So to me, love has so many different dimensions. And I would say to that person is the first thing that we need to do is we need to strip away that which is just human, because it's the conditions in the mirror that we see.
Did she freeze?
Yeah, she froze.
Oh, okay, she's still here. Let's see her.
I'm back. It knocked me off, but I'm back.
Okay, thank you, Enolia.
What I would do is I would first look that person in the eye, and I would ask them to look past the human condition, because mostly it's the human condition is what separates us. It's the human condition that makes us hard on ourselves. It's the human condition that makes us feel bad. I always have this saying that I don't believe in the word guilt, and I don't believe in the word shame, because to me, guilt and shame are manipulations to get a result, are human manipulations used to get a result that's wanted from the person who's doing it. And if you think about that, right, we even do that to ourselves. We do that to ourselves by saying, well, I have to feel guilty or I have to feel shame, so this will justify me not liking myself more or beating myself up more. So we're even akin to doing it to ourselves let alone having others do it to us. So if you took away guilt and you took away shame and you took away insecurity and you took away jealousy, what would be there that would make us feel bad about ourselves? What would really be there emotionally to make us feel bad about ourselves? It's one of those four pieces besides fear. So the thing is to, for me, when I work with someone, I dissect and I just pull it apart. And I'm like, okay, let's get to the core of that first time, because something happened in life that had that manipulation that brought you to that point. And once we understand what brought you to that point, and we can then work at healing. And when I talk about healing, which is releasing that moment where someone made you feel guilty, or someone made you feel shame or hurt or pain. And that little girl that encountered that, she survived it. She grew up. She's an adult now. And have the adult part of you go back to that little girl and say, you made it already. You let it go now. You don't have to protect it anymore, because I'm actually the adult that I am, and I made it. Made it. And we are going to be okay. And that confrontation of self, that being able to truly look at yourself and love what you see, is the release of all of the guilt and the shame, and the pain and the insecurities and the jealousies and the manipulation that we all had to survive and encounter coming up through life. So I would have a lot to say to that person. I would have a lot to say.
Yes. Ooh, thank you. Thank you, Enolia. That was such a powerful response to the question. And again, I thank you enough for that answer. Absolutely. What I will now do is I want to give the others a chance to ask questions or any comments and questions that you have for Enolia. Let's open it up. You just have to take yourself off of mute, or if you want to raise your hand, we definitely will see your hand and we can go ahead and respond to that. All right. Oh, well, I see Deborah's name here, but that's not Deborah. Who is that, Deborah?
Tia.
Yeah, Tia, right. Okay, Tia, go right ahead.
Hello. You know what? I don't know why it says Deborah for me.
Yeah,
My name is clear Tia. I don't know what's happening.
yeah,
Anyway,
you registered
I am
Tia
just so
too. I'm not
yeah. Oh
sure.
my goodness.
I'm not sure why you came in like that. I don't
I
have
don't,
no
I
idea.
don't know because I am so grateful. Just wanted to say thank you guys, and you know, it reminds me of the G100 and everybody coming together and the women coming together. And I just think, oh my goodness, the work that you have done and the love that you have and that you share, oh my, it's so expansive. And I am just so grateful to have you and to listen to you and to hear about your experiences. And I just want to say thank you for stepping over the fear and propelling yourself into your greatest yet to be, because it begins with love and you moved with passion. And I just absolutely adore that. So I just want to say thank you. I'm feeling lifted and very motivated.
Thank you. Thank you for your comment. I just want to say that I had to do my work. It started with me. It wasn't all easy. I can tell you stories. If you read my book, I talk about how I put my foot in my mouth quite a few times because I didn't get it. I had to learn it. I had to go through it. I had to go through the process of it.
Excuse me, Enolia, but you're fading out.
And you know, we all have a little work to do. Not a little, we all have great work to do to honor ourselves. You know, one of the things, the hardest things that I ever did was I looked in the mirror and I actually had to say, how do I lie to myself? What lies do I tell myself to make it seem?
Oh, I think she dropped. Oh, no. Yeah. Okay, here she's coming back. Awesome, awesome. Okay.
Guys, just remember
Yeah,
she's
there
coming
she-
from a
There it is.
Mhm. There
Yeah,
you are.
and I remember what I said. I was saying I can be insecure and being admitting that, yeah, I can be insecure. And when we can truly admit our vulnerabilities, when we can admit our vulnerabilities, then who can hurt us anymore? Who can hurt us? Then they say, yeah, girl, well, you got an attitude. Yeah, I can get an attitude. I can own that. What are you saying that I don't know already? You know, then those pain points don't become pain points because I don't have any secrets to hide, because I owned it by looking myself in the mirror and no longer lying to myself. Yep, that can be me.
Hmm.
So it doesn't come without a lot of pain. Sometimes in terms of just facing the things that you don't want to. But when you do, it's a load on your back. It is such a load.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Enolia. Ladies, we're being truly blessed by Enolia today. Oh my God, you are a woman of words of such powerful wisdom here, and truly, truly a blessing. I hope everyone can reach out. Oh, I've recorded this, okay? So I know me and Deborah make sure that everyone gets that recording. Oh, I mean, I just should have shut up because we wanted her to. Anyone else have a question? I think she's gonna pop back in. So anyone else? Question or comment? Let's get her while we can. There, she's coming back in here, I'm sure. Yeah. I don't see her right now. There she is. Okay. Is there anyone else? When she pops in, you go ahead and unmute yourself so that you can, ask your question or make your comment. Miss Nolia, are you there? I can see her on here, but I don't see her voice or picture right now. Mhm.
Her picture is not up, but her name is up.
Mhm. Well, ladies, let's keep a.
Can you hear my voice?
Yes,
Yes.
we can. Mhm.
I can't see you, but I can hear you. I think it'll connect shortly,
Okay.
but I can hear you.
Awesome, thank you.
So I guess I shared that story because nothing is in a perfect world.
That's so very true. Yeah, we do not live in a perfect world. Mhm.
Ladies, I think the reason why you have my name on your screen is because so many people were asking me, how do I get in? And I was just cutting and pasting. and some of the messages, the link.
It's like it comes from you directly from you then if you cut and
Yeah.
paste. Yeah. You're right. That's it. And I know I seen everybody register now. So forgive us for the difficulties today because we know that it's just Zoom and
I'm
any
here.
platform. There we go. But it's just amazing that Enolia is coming all the way from Africa, guys. Africa, and we have her here sharing with us today. We are truly, truly blessed. All right.
If no one has a question, I have a question. Enolia, how do you let go of the past?
I learn the lessons from the past, and then I take those lessons and I don't let them define my future. I take those lessons and I deal with them in the here and now. And then when I define my future and when I define something I want based on the future, I don't look at the fact that the
Okay. I think she froze again.
Yeah. All right, until she comes back, and guys, forgive us for that, like Sheila said, but she's truly amazing. She has books, she has the 30-day, what is it, Know Thyself. I'm doing that now,
Thyself.
truly amazing. The reason why we brought her on is because she has this connection, this amazing connection with you. Once you talk to her spirit, her energy is just truly amazing. And she will give you the opportunity to even call her or talk to her. I think she has sessions where you can call and talk to her as well. If you want to answer, have any questions for her personally, you can do that as well. Enolia, are you back?
yes, I am.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and
Yes,
continue.
I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So it's been off and on. I lost where I was. I lost track.
I know
So
the
tell me the
last
question again.
I know one of the things
Can
you
you
said
repeat
is
that?
don't let the pain define your future.
Oh, the past. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I got it.
The past, yes. Sorry.
So we were talking about the past, and I was saying that I don't let the past define my future. I let the lessons learned inform me for my here and now. And then when I define my future, I define it not based on fear, because we are afraid that something in the past is going to define what our future looks like. But what I do is I take those lessons learned and then I just walk the path of my future. I just walk it. I like hold that vision in front of myself and I'm going to get there. And even though I fell 3 times last time I tried it, I just don't think about the fact that I can fall. I'm not going to fall. I'm just going to do it because I learned about what it took to fall. And you know what? I can get back up. So I don't look at the future saying, I fell 3 times, I'm going to fall again. No, I just look at the future and I say, okay, I learned my lessons.
Oh, okay, she froze once again.
Yeah, she's frozen. All right,
I know Angie has put, she texted me a comment. It's very powerful what Angie Bibber said here. She says, please tell her that I could listen to her speak all day and a blessing. She has so much to offer us.
awesome.
Isn't that okay? We gotta make sure no. Yes. Thank you for
Okay.
sharing that, Annie.
I'm here.
Okay.
Okay, there.
So what I was saying is just like at least those three different things would not define my future if I made a mistake. I don't come from a place of fear, and I try not to come from a place of scarcity. Fear and scarcity are the two main things that we come from in our past. The fear of something repeating and the scarcity of not having enough. So, and thank you for bearing with these internet problems. I'm so sorry.
Don't apologize.
We might have had some internet interruptions, but I'm gonna tell you, Enolia, it did not interrupt at all what you have shared with us today. Okay? Not at all. I think everybody can say that
Okay.
they truly, truly got everything that you were delivering today. And then we can tell us so much from your heart. So thank you. Thank you so much for being here, for taking time, for being up with us. And it's at midnight there and later now. And you're taking time to share with us.
Anytime, anytime.
Let her talk about her books. How many books do you have, Leah? You have books? She has several books.
So I have four. Yeah, I have four books that I fully wrote. The first one is How I Found My Sovereign Voice with My Grandmother Elder. And it's my transition from corporate to walking the path on a spiritual life. It's that first initial transition, how I met all the doubts, all of the challenges I had to go through, how I insulted the very woman that I asked to teach me. Oh, girl, I did a number because I was arrogant, and I came with the entitlement attitude that corporate instills in us. When you want something, take it. And I was taking the leadership, and I had asked this woman to teach me, and I was taking the very leadership. This is how instilled it was within me, and how I had to back up and sit there with tears in my eyes going, I didn't mean that. I really want to learn from you. Will you still teach me? And yeah, I love that book. And so I took that book, Find Grandmother Elder, because that woman was so patient with me. And I did a summary, chapter by chapter, of all of the lessons that I learned. And then I asked you to take my story and to relate it back to the situations in your life that might have been similar. And then that way, I give you the doorway of telling you my trauma, my issues, so that you can help possibly see some of your own. I do that in a second book called Discovering Your Sovereign Self. So Discovering Your Sovereign Self is the summary of every chapter of the book I wrote, affirmations and questions that you can ask yourself. And then I also wrote a book called The 7 Principles for Self-Mastery. Yes. And what that is that there are 7 principles that I learned that are independent of no matter what culture you're in, what religion you're in, it doesn't matter. They're 7 tools. The power of my voice, the power of your voice, how to redefine fear. Judgment does not define me. Limited beliefs. Forgiveness is freedom. I am powerful. How I stand in my power. These are tools we already possess that nobody from the outside of us has to tell us how to do it. And I give you examples of what took place in my life that had me discover these tools and what teacher taught me and what they had to teach me in order for me to come to these conclusions. So they are my methodology of the 7 principles of how I was able to work on myself and what I use to sustain a positivity in my life and a positive attitude, even when I'm going through it. And I go through it. Don't think that everything's just like, sometimes it's like, but I still get through it. And I get through it without going on an emotional roller coaster. Because we can take ourselves through that emotional roller coaster. And I get through it without having to beat myself up because I made a mistake. And I get through it as the observer and not necessarily reacting to every single thing that takes place. And that's key. So what it is, 7 principles for self-mastery is my methodology, not just principles, but my methodology and mindset. So I can sustain a path through life. And I've made it second nature, and I've documented it because I truly believe that source, God gave it to me and then had me write it down so that I could share with anybody who wanted to learn.
Mm.
And I
So
truly believe that. I don't believe I created really any of my programs. I believe that it came through me and not from me.
Mm. So can anyone get in contact with you if they want to have, I call it a session, because I'll call her and talk to her on the phone when I need help. Can anyone get in contact with you just to, so you can enlighten them? Or I know you do sessions like that. Do you? Like spiritual sessions, and do you do that?
Yes, I actually do. I do. Yes,
Okay.
I do. We can touch base. We can have an informal session and just, for the moment, or we can have something that is programmatic, and I'm actually going to create a group also where we just talk in a group like this. And I'll make sure that my internet is stable. But actually, I think it's powerful because when we share each other's stories, then we realize we're not alone in them.
Right.
We're truly not alone.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the most important piece, is that, again, we are stronger together.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm on all the social medias. You can contact me, Facebook. I'm on WhatsApp and Messenger. I return all my calls, and I usually do them pretty timely.
Okay, and your Facebook is Enolia, right? Just Enolia, or?
Right.
Okay.
Enolia or Enolia Foti. One of them is my personal Facebook and the other one is my business one, but they really both mimic each other. I don't put anything different on one than I do the other. So it doesn't matter which one you connect with, my personal or my business one. One's Enolia, just my first name, and the other one's Enolia Foti. I'm also on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter.
YouTube.
I'm on TikTok, YouTube. You'll see all my works. And I do have a website. It's www.enolia.live, Live. I try to keep it all consistent. And on YouTube, it's just Enolia. And since my name is unique, there's not too many other Enolias that'll come up. And I'm always wearing the same thing. So I'm always wearing the blue and yellow dress for all my business sites and my website.
Now, you didn't talk about your trip to Spain. She's doing a retreat to Spain.
Yes. Yes. I am doing a retreat in Spain, just outside of Valencia. It is June 3rd through June 10th. It is a 7-day retreat, and it is there to help you celebrate self as a woman. We do not know what it's like to go through women's rites of passage. And that's what I like to call it. It's a woman's rite of passage. It is, here's where I'm at. Here's what I want to let go. And I take you through ceremony. We do ceremony to let go. And many of us don't know what it's like to really have a fire ceremony, or to have someone drum over us, or to basically make that declaration of, this is who I am, this is what I'm bringing into my life. It's powerful. Ceremony was done because it really moves and shifts the energy so that you can step into what it is that you want, and you can truly let things go. And I didn't realize how powerful that was until I had to do it myself. One of the biggest lessons I ever had to learn was to stop and let go of pettiness and holding grudges. And I'll tell you a quick story. I took these desert intensives with grandfather Lynch Archuleta, and he basically took me out to the middle of the desert and was teaching me. And then at one of the days that he took me out, he said, Enolia, go get, I've been there millions of years, pick one out. So I came back with a cute little heart one. And he's like, oh, come on, go get a bigger one. So I came back with a sizable one about this big. And he's like, no, get a big one. I'm like, oh, wow, what are we going to do? Carve it or something? So I came back with one, carrying it, two hands like this. I'm carrying it, right? And so we get back to the house, right? His house was across the street from his guest house. And so he's sitting there with me, talking to me in the guest house. And one of the ladies that was also there at the same time was like, let's cook dinner. And he goes, what are you doing? I go, well, I'm going to cook dinner. He says, pick up that stone. I said, so I have to carry this stone, pick up the stone. So I'm holding the stone and trying to do things with one hand. Then I had to go to the bathroom and I'm like, okay. I put the stone down. He goes, what are you doing? And I said, well, I'm just putting the stone down so I can use the bathroom. Excuse me, do you want to go home? No, pick up that stone. I had to take the stone with me everywhere. I had to sleep with it. I had to walk with it. I couldn't do anything without it. Do you know what that stone represented? All my grudges, all my pettiness, everything. I didn't want to put it down in life, so he just made it manifest in reality. Guess what? I wanted to learn how to put it all down.
Yes.
So after 3 days of carrying that stone everywhere, he made me carry that stone. He said, are you ready? I said, yes. He said, okay, you are going to make a commitment to God between you and God regarding all the stuff that you're always carrying, the grudges, the nastiness, the hurts. And when you're ready to put it down, you're going to do it before God. And I said I was ready. And let me tell you something, that I put it all down.
Wow.
Because I didn't want to carry that with me. When I realized the weight that I was carrying, I didn't want it anymore.
Wow.
It was one of my biggest lessons of my life.
Wow.
And I got lots more where that came from. We are going to celebrate self.
Wow.
Ceremonies that I did were powerful, and I share those with you. And be celebrating and going to ceremony. And so that's it.
Wow.
It's called transformation.
And we all
The
need that.
retreat.
Wow. All right. Wow. Truly amazing. Sheila, you're still here?
Yes,
She's
ma'am.
probably crying. Are you crying?
Yeah, no, I am writing. I have pages of notes. Okay. I am seriously, this is so powerful. And these words, I don't know. I wish I could just carry you around with me in my ear all the time, Enolia, because I'm like, oh my goodness. Okay. Seriously, this is so powerful. So thank you. Thank you so much for sharing with us.
Yeah.
Any comments before we go?
I know you guys have questions. I know you're just trying to hold it in and you don't want to talk about it. She said, let it go.
There you go. That's right. Did she tell? She tell it. She told it. And carrying that rock. I mean that big stone. Anybody else want to keep carrying that big stone? Okay. 'Cause I'm
I
like,
do. I have something to say if that's okay. I'm here with my mom, and so Enolia, it is so nice to meet you, and you are such a phenomenal, powerful queen. My deal is, as you can see, I have this lovely gap as you, and I would like to know during your life, how have you handled that, and accepted, that this is you, this is your fate, this is your gap, and how has it moved you forward? I've told people when I was younger, I wouldn't change my face, my gap for anyone because it's a part of me, a part of who I am. But I just like hearing that from other women that faces the same issues. Thank you.
So I'll tell you another story. I was in Chile and I met this woman named Marcela Lobos, the women's retreat in Chile, and grandmother, who's Clara. When I saw this woman, I was like, oh my God, this woman was in my dreams. And how do I approach her? How do I tell her that she was in my dreams? And so I finally got the nerve up. She was by herself, and I pulled her aside to talk to her. And I told her she was in my dreams. And she was like, really? And she didn't even flinch. She didn't think I was crazy or anything like that. And so she said, okay. And then, we went on the day, and I was like, I shouldn't have told her anything. Oh my gosh, this woman's going to think I'm nuts, right? And so the next day, and she says, I have a message for you. And I'm like, okay. She said, your medicine is strong, but there's an insecurity about you. You need to go home. And I said, what, go home to New York? What are you talking about? My dear, you need to go home to Africa. And I said, oh, go to Africa with my husband. She said, no, you need a pilgrimage. You need to go and see the beauty of the women who look like you. Need to be able to turn around and see them shaped like you, built like you, look like you, everything like you, to get that insecurity. And I was like, oh, well, I can go with my girlfriend. She said, no, you need to go alone. I was like, okay, so you're telling me I need to go to Africa and I need to go alone. And I don't know anything. All I know is what I see on TV like everybody else. I'm like, how am I supposed to do this? Okay, so we went up this huge mountain in the Andes, and we go for a hike, and we do our quote unquote their vision quest. I did a vision quest. So it's when you all sat at the top of the mountain, and we had certain prayers and certain rituals we were going to do, and we're talking to God. And I'm like, okay, God, you want me to Africa? If you really want me to go to Africa, I will go. But you're going to have to provide a way. I don't know how to get to Africa. Anything about Africa. How am I going to get there safely, Lord? Please, if I'm supposed to go, provide a way. And I did everything else that I was supposed to. And then I hear the drum, they beat back. He eventually goes and comes over slowly, to where Marcella was, calling us back. And Marcella's talking to this woman named Lorraine, and she's like, Lorraine wants me to go to Africa, but I don't feel called to go to Africa. Do you want to go? Lorraine's like, I'm from the Philippines. I'm from a third world country. I want to go to another third world country, but I know he wants to go. And I turned around and I this is 5 after I said prayer. She goes to me, Enolia, do you want to take my place in a safari in Africa? My friends are going. And I turned around and I looked at her and I said, yes. And I looked at God and I was like, okay. That safari ended up being a walking safari, 100 miles across Kenya. And it was my pilgrimage. God provided it that quickly. I went with 7 people, and because I didn't know them well, okay, I didn't have to worry about, you know, being ultra polite or anything else. I could just like to them, be cordial at dinner, but I had all that time alone. When we walked silently in a row. I walked 10 miles a day, 10 days in a row across the east-west Savo parks of Kenya. And that was my first encounter of Africa. And God provided that way. And when I went there with the gaps in my teeth, and the men were like, are you kidding? That's a truck. My brothers, there were 23 men that it was like a moving hotel. And there were 23 men that picked up all of the camp, moved it forward while we were walking. And when we came off that walk, and the camp would be all completely set up like we left it. We could shower, we could eat and everything. And my African brothers, they taught me what it was to be in Africa and how my people, which were my mother's side, I did a DNA test and I found out that I was part Kenyan and part Nigerian. And the walk we did was Kenya. And it was like spirit called me home on top of that. This is going on, this happened. And the brothers are telling me, yes, the Luya tribe, your people were drums and you will work the land. And they were saying when they were in the drumming that they did, and they're telling me about people, the gaps. They all had gaps, and they felt there were people who were trying to file their teeth to get a gap.
Oh, wow, wow.
And I love grandmother Luz Clara because she told me to go home. And that's when I realized the beauty of all that we are. So that's another story.
Thank you so much. I feel so good. I feel so good. And I just found out, I just discovered my Nigerian roots, and I am going to make a pilgrimage to Africa probably in 2024. But you're just so amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're so you are so welcome.
Amazing. Amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
Sheila, I don't know. We could keep.
Alessa has had her hand raised, so
Oh,
we're
okay.
gonna give her a chance. Am I saying your name right, Alessa?
Alisa.
So, okay. Can you unmute? Are you able to
Yes,
unmute?
can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
awesome. This
Yes.
is so phenomenal. It is so awesome. It is such a blessing to hear the wisdom coming from Enola. I'm looking at my mother. I mean, the wisdom coming out of her mouth would be my mother, you know? But I'm so thankful that you share all of your experiences and your changes, because it makes a big difference to women. And I'm so very, very thankful for you. Thank God that I have found a group that I can get in and share the struggles that I have gone through as a woman, as a minister, as an entrepreneur, as a parent. And all of this is so powerful. We really don't know what we have grabbed a hold of being women in the G100 and sharing our lives to one another and sharing it to the world. It is so, so very powerful. So powerful. Not having to tiptoe and around at the things that we used to have to do, and being a female and, you know, being able to walk through the door and being seen as a human being, not just a female woman.
Mhm.
I applaud you and I applaud all these women on the panel. I applaud all of you all. Thank you so, so much.
Yes.
I'm new here to this, but you know what? God is doing it all. He is doing it all.
Amen.
And I thank you all and thank you so much for your wisdom. And I'm going to get every book you got. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. And I'm going to share just this too. One of the things that I learned from my grandmother Isabel so beautifully is just to own my age. I will be 60 this year. And,
Yes.
I'm considered grandmother now. I'm grandmother Enolia. And in order to be a grandmother, she was like, well, girl, have you gone through menopause? I was like, grandmother Isabel, I went through menopause at 48. I'm in my late 50s, yes. She goes, well, where's your gray hair? And I said, well, I was dyeing my hair. She said, well, that's why I didn't know.
Mm.
It was the fun that I wore my gray hair so she could see that I was old enough and mature enough to become the matriarch that she so with all grandmas. Grandmother is an affectionate title of the elder, the matriarch. And although I'm a matriarch of the nation, elder, grandmother, we're all elders, and we have to learn to own this and to own it with pride and to own it. Sometimes I'll be working with women, I'll be coaching, and I'm like, remember, now you don't have to ask permission. You set the tone. You set the tone, the matriarch. Okay? So let's not forget that about ourselves, that matriarchs set the tone. We are the next elders. We're it. It stops with in my household at the age of 59 years old, and my sister is 75, 14 years apart. Or no, we're 16 years apart, Lord. We're 16 years apart, but my mom's generation has passed away. We are the elders of the family.
Mm-hmm.
We're it. And I have 2 other female cousins in the same age range. The 4 of us are it.
Mm.
The kids come to us. So you kiss that mom right next to you, big, long, hugging kiss, and realize her wisdom is your wisdom, and your wisdom will be it.
Mm.
This is it. Stops with us. We've got to learn to respect it ourselves so that everyone will respect us.
Mm-hmm.
That right there was a light bulb
So I
moment.
own it.
When you're an elder.
I own it. I own it 100%. I am grateful for it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's on me. Own your elder. Oh my God, did that hit you? Like I'm ready to dye this gray hair. Own your elder. Own your elder. That was a light bulb for me right there, guys. Own your elder. All right, guys. Sheila, what we don't even want to go, huh?
Yeah, we're past time, and we thank you, everyone. I tell you, it's so hard when we get together as women and we start sharing. It's so hard to let go, right? You just want to hold on to everyone, just like Alyssa said. Oh my goodness, yes. Means so much to us. And Enolia, we cannot thank you enough. We
Yeah.
really, truly can't. I don't think any of us are gonna leave here, this Zoom this evening, without feeling a little different about ourselves.
Yes.
Would you ladies agree with me? Okay.
Yes.
Because,
Most definitely.
yeah, absolutely. And that's because of the words that Enolia has instilled
You
in
are
us.
beautiful.
Right, right. We have to own who we are. I love this. Own your elder. Oh my goodness. Wish my mom was still here. I just got so filled because of thinking about my mom. Okay. She was beautiful and she just such a loving spirit. And so it just makes you think about, who we are, who we will just strive to be,
Mhm.
and the words that Enolia has shared with us and to instill in ourselves.
Mhm.
We can't let anyone tell us that we're not. See, I mean, we as women, we'll tend to try to let someone else define us, and no more, no more.
Wow. And we're grandmothers,
That's
Yeah.
right.
right? We're
Yeah.
grandmothers, so the baton has been passed on to us.
Mhm,
Enolia, you hit it right on the nose. We are the elder. We are the elders.
mhm.
We are.
Wow. We love you.
Mhm.
You are truly amazing, guys. I told you she would nail it. Every time she speaks, I'm there to listen. I don't care where she is. I'm
Mhm.
trying to go to Spain.
Yeah, she is Enolia. She's going.
I'm like, Tanya, should I hit the button? Wow, truly amazing. Like Sheila said, we appreciate you. Thank you for being on the Women in the New Norm. Ladies, Women in the New Norm, every month we have a different guest. So this one you will remember for sure. So get in touch with her. Get in touch with her and get connected. Right? So Sheila, any more closing words before we hang up?
I am looking at all these powerful women here, and if any of you want the opportunity to speak up on this platform, please get in touch with me and Deborah, because we would love to give you the opportunity to do just that. We know you have so much to share. And it's time, ladies. It's time for us to do just that. So again, thank you. Thank you so much for just taking time to spend this evening with us. And we want everyone to have a blessed rest of the week. And we look forward to seeing you next month. And with a new special guest. And you know what? We're going to go for everything that we know within ourselves and who we should be. We're going to come back on this platform, whole new women.
Yeah.
Thank you, Enolia.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you just so much for just allowing me to be here and to meeting all of you. And Deborah, Sheila, thank you for holding space. I mean, what you do is important and it's powerful. And, we need it. We need it. So keep holding that space. And I was honored to be here and I love it. So thank you.
Love you.
Happy sister.
Thank you.
All right, guys. We're getting ready to get cut off. Love you guys.